Hey there everyone, my name is Hitesh and welcome to another video where we are going to explore how to build full stack mobile apps. Building mobile apps is really fun, and especially these days I have changed my mind and I'm loving Expo. Expo is one of the fastest way of building the mobile apps, and no, it's not the Expo if you have heard about it 5 6 years ago. Just like me, no, it's completely changed and it's much of a better developer experience. Along with that, it's not that simple to build the apps which are full stack. You can build the apps which looks great, have buttons and list and whatnot, but building the apps with the full stack is not that easy. It's almost like having your web application, but it's not connected to any database. It's fun that you have buttons that clicks and pop-ups, but there's no database. Similarly, in the mobile apps, it's not an easy task to build the full stack mobile apps. You need some kind of backups for that. And the backends that I'm talking about, you could write them on your own and you can use Express and Spring and PHP and whatnot, but there is no such direct support of having all these features. That's why I love SDKs. And one of the tool and service that I use quite often is AppWrite, which is an open source. Yes, the source code is entirely available on their GitHub. I recently launched their React Native SDK, for which I'm super excited. So I thought let's make a video about and show you a complete walkthrough of how you can build a kind of a glimpse of full stack application using Expo. It's going to be a fun application. You're going to definitely enjoy this one. All you have to do is just follow along with me if you wish, or you can just sit back, relax on your couch and just watch me. By the way, there is also a tutorial entire in the written text format in the description section. I've recently started to write all the tutorials in the text manner as well, so that it helps you in case you don't want to watch the video or rewatch the video, go through with the fast pace. Hey, there's a tutorial in the text format. You can just watch that, no ads. That's nice. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to explore the SDK. I'll show you the entire setup process of that. Then we'll go ahead and register a user. We'll log in a user. We'll grab some details of the user so that we can find out what's the ID, unique ID that is being created in the account. And then finally, we'll do a sign out, logout. That's the whole plan. The app is not going to look absolutely beautiful, but it's going to work. And that's the goal for this application. Definitely in the later on videos, I'll walk you through with building more beautiful apps, having more usage of the AppWrite and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So let me share the screen first and this is what we have. So if you haven't created an account on AppWrite, just go ahead. It's free. You can go ahead and create an account on cloud.appwrite.io. And this is where I need to set up my project. And apart from this, we'll be using Expo for creating the app. So I guess without wasting any more time, let's just go ahead and create an app first and then we'll talk about later. So I am already into a folder. I'll walk you through. I can just remove this. And I can just go ahead and do a quick ls. I am into a folder where I usually keep all of the YouTube related stuff. I'm going to go ahead and create an account. I create an app for Expo. Now you might be using npx for this one. I'm going to be using bun because it's ridiculously fast, but the commands are exactly same. You don't need to worry about that. These days I'm using bun much more. And then we are going to go ahead and say expo-app. And I'm going to call this one as chai app. That's literally means that T app. And I guess that's a fair enough name. Yeah, let's go with that. And this is going to just resolve all the things. This is much faster. I've tried recently before recording the videos. I tried it with the npm as well. This one is ridiculously fast. Let's go ahead and open up the Chai, not tabs, but the Chai app. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up into my code editor of my choice, which these days is VS Code, and not these days, in a long run. So there we go. All right, so what we're going to do apart from this is I have an emulator running, which is on the Android app. By the way, you can try just with your real device. You can scan this up with the Expo. It's pretty easy to run with that, but I'm going to be using this one. It's much more easier for me to show you the demo of what's happening and how is it going on. I'll go ahead and show you a couple of files first. The first one is app.json. This is where majority of the things are there which we want to do the settings, like for the Android settings, for iOS settings, and this is what we have. We also have app package.json, which install all the dependencies and whatnot. And another file that we have is app.js, of course, the starting file, where we have a text and we have some of the stylings around. And that's pretty much it. That's it. That's your mobile app. How cool is that? Let's go ahead and see how we can run that. Package.json says that you can run npm run start. or in my case, I'm just go ahead and use bun start. So I'll just go ahead and say I'll use bun start, and let's just go ahead and try this. It says start, and by the way, at this point you can just press A to run it on Android, and that's exactly what I'll do. I'll just press A. It will open up Expo. It's ridiculously fast and it's going to just open up the app for me. Almost done, 98%, and there we go. We see the app running. It's little, can I zoom this? Nah, I shouldn't have done that. Anyways, so you can see that the app is working, and that's exactly what we want. Now, the next thing that we have to do is, let me just go ahead and stop this. We don't need it as of now. The next step is to get ready and set up with the installation process and all of that. Before you do that, you need to make sure that your app actually knows what kind of app you are building, what's the name of it. In the Expo, the name of the app in this case is Chai app, and that's usually what you want to set for the Android. Each app has a unique identifier known as bundle ID, whether you're going for the iOS or Android, and you need that. AppWrite also doesn't know by default that, hey, from where this request is coming up, which app should I go for? And that is why I highly recommend you to go into the Android section here and add the package name. It's super easy to go ahead and work with that. All you have to do is just add the setting for the ID. That's it. So let's just go ahead and add this. And by the way, you can just use any name up here. So come back here, and what we're going to do is just simply say that, hey, I want to add a package. That's how you do it. And then simply go ahead and add this. Make sure you add a trailing comma. Now, what you write here depends on what kind of domain you own. So for example, if I own a domain known as com.chaicode. and whatever your app name is, it could be just an app. It could be whatever you want to call your app. Maybe I'm running out of the name, sign up, whatever you want to go with that. If you don't have anything, you can just go ahead and still write like com. I'll just say test write. And then I'm going to go ahead and say app. This is totally up to you. As of now, we are just testing out the thing. So it could be completely different from the app name. Usually it's com.chaicode, dot, and then the name chai-app. So it's usually that reverse domain listing, unique kind of a thing. Anyways, I'll just save this, and that's it. That's it. My setting is all done. Now, next up, all I need to do is install a package, couple of packages actually. It's mentioned in the documentation of AppWrite as well. I'll just go ahead and install this. So I'll just go ahead and say bun install. The first package that we need is React Native AppWrite. And there's also one more package which is required, known as React Native URL polyfill. This is important because the request is being made and they need to extract a lot of data from the URL. So it's a polyfill for the URL. I'll probably talk about that in some another video. This video shouldn't be focused on that. Let's go ahead and install that. Bun is ridiculously fast, just like always, and we'll just close this one. Now, once we are done with that, then we need to do some kind of a setup for this AppWrite stuff. So let me open up the terminal. Not the terminal, the browser, and I'll create, this is the one that I tried for testing the app before recording the video. So we'll go ahead and create a fresh one. Thank goodness AppWrite allows me to create a more. The project name, totally on you. I'm going to call this one as YouTube app. YouTube app. Let's call this one as YouTube Write. Yeah, that's fun. I'll go ahead and click next. Only Frankfurt is available to me. Can you please unlock Bangalore for me as well? Let's go ahead and create this one. And it's going to take a couple of seconds. There we go. You need to be patient on that. And there we go. It opens up. Now, the first thing, and probably only thing that you need to do is you have to configure your Android or your Apple. I'm currently working on just the Android. So I'll just go ahead and open this up. And what's the name of the app? This is where you can just go ahead and say that, hey, I want to grab my app name. So I'll just grab the app name from here. My app name is Chai app. So just copy this. This is my app name. This is where you install the package name, or copy the package name, by the way. I'll just go ahead and paste that. That's all you need. Rest of the thing is totally optional. We are not working with the Groovy or any Java based stuff. We don't need to do any of this. I'll just go ahead and click on next. This is important. We are going to need this, although we'll be rewriting this stuff. But let's just throw it in our app.js. We'll be removing it 100% because that's Java Kotlin-ish code. We don't need this, but it will help us to rewrite this stuff. And then next, and go to dashboard. That's it. Your app is configured. Told you, it's ridiculously easy. And that's it. That's all I guess you need to do. Now we need a couple of things from this. We'll need majorly this project ID, but first let's go ahead and see what's going on in this one. Now in this section, all we got to do is first bring up this client account, and probably we'll need ID as well. Let's bring that in the JavaScript style, not the Java style. So we're going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and grab some stuff from React Native App Write. All we need from this one is client, we need account, and we need ID. So that's all we need. Now the imports are done, so I guess we can just remove this. Now we don't need a client like this. We need a classic JavaScript style client. I'll not do this anything inside the app. It needs to be done as soon as the app is being invoked. So I'll do everything outside of this one. Let's just go ahead and have a client, and we'll also need an account. So just have this one. Now based on this, we obviously need to set an endpoint, set a project, and set the self-signed, all of this one here. So the client creation is pretty simple. All you got to do is simply say, hey client, you will be coming up from new client. Let's bring this up. That's it. And now our client can go ahead and use all the services that are available to it. For example, I can just go ahead and use set, what's the first one? Set endpoint, yes. That's why I usually like to copy this, because it helps me to just bring all these things. We'll give you the endpoint. Thank you so much. And copy this. Ta-da, paste this up here. Next up, what we need is .set project. Set project, that's the one. This is where we need the ID. So I'll just go ahead and grab, where is my ID? Copy this and paste it up here. That's all we need. And we don't need the self-sign and all these things, but rather, if you look in the docs as well, you need to set the platform. So I'll just remove this, no longer required. All we need to do after this is .set. There's a new stuff here which is known as platform. This is the new request string, and that's why you have installed the polyfill. And this will help us to set all the origin requests up there based on the unique ID that only you know. Of course, I'll delete that after creating the video. And this is where you have to set the platform. This is how they link it. So you have set, come on, you have set this app write project. Inside that you have mentioned that, hey, this is my unique app name. Now that exact unique app name needs to go here. So I can just go in here. Whatever you are mentioning in the package name, you have to go up here and paste it up here. There we go. Now that polyfill will do its all magic. Now, if this client is all done, based on the client context, you have to create an account. This is standard stuff in all the app write. Let's go ahead and initialize the account. We can do that by new client, and it needs a context, and we can provide the context by account. That's it. So this is the stuff you can just copy paste and keep it somewhere safe, because this needs to be done every single time you create an app write project or install it anywhere. This stuff is little new. This is not available on the web. Rest of all stuff is just pretty standard. After that, it just walk through in the park. So what we're going to do is we'll create a couple of states. We'll not go into React hook forms in this one, or probably some another day. I'll just create a standard states for maintaining my email, password, and probably name. That's it. Let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to go ahead and say, I need email, I need set email, and that's going to be, oops, use state. There we go. Bring it up here. Now here are a couple of interesting stuff that you really need to know. Some of these states can be absolutely in the string null format. Some of the stuff which you are going to get through the app write needs to be null, literal null. If you point them as a string, you are going to be making a mistake, because the data that comes up from it, it's actually in the JSON format, and you want to extract the data from the JSON directly. I'll show you in the console log as well what I mean to say. It's really difficult to understand at this point. So I'll just go ahead and say password. Did I add it next to S? Okay, password. Set password, and that's going to be use state, and there we go. This could also be null. We'll also go ahead and grab a name for just for the name's sake. Set name, and that's going to be use state. This could also be empty. Now we will be grabbing some of the user details. So I'll just go ahead and say user details, and that's going to be set user details. And this is the most important part. You have to go ahead and say user state is going to be initially null. Yes, you cannot call it as empty string. I'll show you the reasons for that. There are interesting reasons for that. That's it. That's the basic. Now, all I have to do is first, let's go ahead and create methods or create the UI. I think let's go ahead and create a UI because methods first. UI would be, oh, you can go with any. I'll go with the functionality first. So I need a couple of methods first. So I'm going to go ahead and say, oops, create a new app write account. How we can do that? Of course, it's going to be a sync operation, and we're going to call this one as function. Let's call this one as create account. I usually like to keep all of such things into a separate file as a service so that I'm not vendor logged in. And I can also do any changes whenever I need, so I don't have to hunt for this one. But in this one, I'm just showing you how to get started basic. That's why I'm not keeping them in a separate service file, but that's a good habit. I always keep that. Now, all you have to do in this one is let's just go ahead and simply, we don't want to store that into any variable response or something. I just want to go ahead and use this account, which has a lot of methods. I'm going to use the one which says create, which is responsible for creating the accounts. There are a couple of others as well you can go ahead and use. It requires a couple of properties that you want to give it. The first one is ID. That is compulsory. You cannot avoid that. It has a unique way of by this method, you can just consider this as almost like UUID. Not exactly, but almost. The result is almost same. And then I'm going to go ahead and say email, password, and name. So you just are sending all the data by storing them in the state, of course. Once this is all done, all I'm interested in do a console log of saying that successfully created account so that I know what's happening. I haven't added any toast message or something, so I'll just go ahead and work like that. Yes, it's just one line to build an account of a user. Told you, it's super easy. Then go ahead and let's just add another method, sign in with email and password. There are other methods as well. I haven't tested them yet. I will be doing that for sure. That's what I do in my free time. But hey, we'll do that later on. Async, that's going to be a function. Let's go ahead and create a sign in. Sign in, that's how. This method doesn't require anything. We can grab everything from the state itself. I'll just go ahead and use an account. And this is going to be using a create, no suggestion, create email session. You can look all of these methods in their docs as well. By the way, there's a great doc available somewhere. Should be available up here. All right, let's go on to personal project. There was a link. Yeah, here it is at the bottom. You can just go ahead and look for it. And if you want to see all the auth, you can just hit the email password login. And this is where all the methods are there. This is how you create account. You need to log in. You can just look for it. This is the one you can create email session. You can use that. So that's how I am actually getting to know how to do sign up. This is the one that I'm using. So just go ahead and use all of that, unique ID or something like that. Anyways, that's the standard stuff. And I really like the consistency, whether I'm in the web, I'm on the SDK, I just use the same method. The previous knowledge is adding up. Anyways, this one needs email and password, and that's it. Once this is done, I want to do one more stuff. I want to extract, since my session is created, I want to fire up a method, grab some details of whatever the user details are and store them into user details. You can just go ahead and find the user API, I guess, or if it is account API. I always get confused in that. Anyways, it's just a simple method of saying that, hey, get, that's it. I'll just go ahead and say sign in. Once the sign in is done, let's just go ahead and say set user details. This is the hook that I want to invoke. And I'll just go ahead and say account. And then there is just one method on the account. There are a couple of methods. There should be suggestions here. There should be suggestions. There's no suggestion. There's no suggestion. I hate that. Anyways, you cannot actually go ahead and call this because, as I always say, database is in another continent. It takes some time in calling the database, and there could be a potential errors as well. In this case, I'll just go ahead and do await, and I'll just put up a mark. Uh, do not use this. Not a great idea. You don't want to set up like this. You want to actually have a try catch controlled in that, or at least a promise catch, a promise then and catch, and have a proper assigning. And once the variable is done, you definitely want to store it that way. I am doing this all in a fast way just to show you a glimpse of how this is being done. But I'm also mentioning the good practices. You have to give me that. All right, so this is all done. Sign out is ridiculously easy. Sign out. Any more comment? No, I guess that's it. And again, sign out also needs to be an async function. Sign out. There we go. And what we're going to do is await. And this is where a lot of people make mistake. I'll walk you through. And this is one is delete session. And where's the mistake? Sometimes you forget to add an extra S. And there's a whole lot of docs about it, that how this is being done. And if you just look at this, if you look at the account API, if I can find it, and the account API, how to remove the session, get account, create, update. No, I don't want to delete it. Delete sessions. So this one actually deletes all the sessions, but there is another one which can delete only one session. So you have to remove that session. You can grab the list of all the sessions here just like this, and this will give you a whole promise of, hey, these are all the sessions logged in, maybe for multiple users and all these. You can remove that. I prefer to use delete sessions. If user have signed out, let's remove all the sessions. So I usually go with the sessions. Anyways, totally on you. And the most important part is set user details now needs to go back to null. Another interesting thing is that once the details and all these things are being set, I would love to do a console log to show you that what details are coming in. So I'll just go ahead and say user details. Let's at least have a log of what's coming in. And then we have to sign out. A console log is a must. And I'll just say user logged out successfully. There we go. All right, so functionality part we are done. The UI part we won't be focusing on much, but still we have to create something. I'll just go ahead and say that we will have 2 of the views inside this view. There we go, and we'll duplicate. The first view is going to have a text input. Text input. And this text input will be self-closing, of course. We'll have just one piece of styling so that at least we can see it. We'll not go in too much of the styling part. We'll just give it a height. Let's go ahead and go with 40. I'm not sure that's going to look good or bad, whatever that is. We'll also go with the border color, and we'll just use a hard-coded gray. Not a big fan, but hey. We'll also go with the border width so that we can see the border width. Not going too fancy with this, just one of this. And let's also have a margin of probably, don't know, 10, so that I can see what's happening in that. It's not going to look good, but it's going to be there. I need to wire this up with my state, so I can just go ahead and say, hey, on change, you will fire up and will give me the text, whatever the text is there, and we'll throw this text into set email. That is what we'll be doing. And obviously, you might be wondering from where this text and how they will know. The value. Yes, don't worry. We'll throw in a value parameter here, and this value will be email. So there we go. Now everything is wired up. We have the value being attached to the state, and we have a method which anytime something changes, it just sets it up in this one. Very standard React-ish stuff. Let's go ahead and say placeholder. This one will be email. That's it. That's all what we need. Now I can just go ahead, copy and paste this one. This one will be for set password. And this one is going to be text, and this one needs to be changed. Password. Password. And we need one more of this to grab the name. Set name. This one is going to be name. And that's all what we need. We'll be adding a couple of buttons in this view. And probably we can add it in separate view. We'll just add it here. And these are not going to be really the fanciest of the button. We'll just have a button like this. All that I'm interested in is adding a title on this button that says sign in and have an on press event on this one. We'll add the on press in a minute, but first let's grab a couple of copies of this. 1, 2. And this one is going to be create account. Really bad UI. But we can just go ahead and say sign out. Let's handle the on press. This one is going to be sign in. This one is going to be sign out. And this one is going to be create account. Did we call it create account? Create account. Yep, we called it create account. There we go. So all of them are wired up, but in the second view itself, now we would like to just show some of the text here. That's it. So let's go ahead and grab text. And there we go. Inside the text, we'll go ahead and say, this is going to be user's account ID. But for the account ID, we're not sure that the account ID will be there. So it's in the user details. If the user detail is present, then go ahead and grab the user details. And I'll show you how I came to know that this is going to be a dot and a dollar ID. I'll show you that. I'll dump this entire into the console as well. No worries. And then we'll just go ahead and grab a couple of these text so that we can see what's happening. So this one is going to be email. Nothing. I'm just throwing in the state. What's in the state it's here. Email, and we'll just log in the password. Oops, what's happening? Password, and we're gonna go ahead and grab password. And now we can just go ahead and say that, oops, we need to grab this one, copy this, paste this, and we can just go ahead and say this one is going to be for name. All right, lot of work, a lot of work. Let's see if we can start the app. And button start, and please don't give me errors. Please don't give me errors. And let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and reload this. Make sure your app is running on the simulator or via the phone. Okay, Expo isn't responding. Wow, nice. Why is it? Oh, I'm doing a zoom. All right, let's start again. Come on, you have to do this to me. Android. All right, looks good. All right, we have this name. All right, I know how you're not gonna do this. Although it's my mistake, but still I love to yell out on the computer itself that just like, hey, it's your mistake, not mine. And what's else? Reloading the app. This device is actually a lot older. I should actually populate a new device. That would be really nice. Let's go ahead and try to close this off if I can. Having a real device is much, much better. I tried it with a real device and it works absolutely amazing. There we go. Not the best one of all. Probably the worst UI that you have seen ever. But hey, let's go ahead and try this. Let's go ahead and try the email. I'm going to try. Oops. There is some issue with probably the state. Okay, looks like there is issue. Let me go ahead and fix this one. Found it, my bad. Super simple mistake. I just made it on change, and this is not. This is a classic behavior when you come from a web to mobile. It's actually supposed to be on change text. Shouldn't have relied this much on the suggestion. So copy this. This should be also on change text. We copy pasted on change. This one should be name. Okay, so all should be good up here, and let's go ahead and try to reload this, and hopefully we'll found another error. All right, this one is taking a minute to just, all right, or should we start the app again? Come on, you can do it faster. All right, so I restarted the app again. I should really do another Android because this one is definitely not going to work. So let's just go ahead and see that how we can, it's not responding again. Don't do this. There we go. Now it's responding. And please don't do this. All right, let's try. How many errors we are going to see now? Chai at example.com. Oh, this is nice. Password 1234567 8. And name, I'm going to go ahead, go with Chai. Let's see how many mistakes we do. Create an account. Unhandled promise rejection. And that's says promise rejection. Account.create is not a function. It's undefined. My bad. Did I just use an account.create there? Shouldn't have done that. But let's just go ahead and see that. All right. Oops. Looks like I did make the mistake up here. But no, it should be like this. Account.create should be all good. Ooh, what a ridiculous mistake. But I don't like to hide this mistake because this happens to everyone. I accidentally didn't use the account. I just used the client again. Really bad of a mistake. I'm pretty sure you might have already figured it out. So let's go ahead and try again. I really like to show you all that's happening so that you also know things go wrong sometimes, things go good at some time, and you can also debug using these. Let's go ahead and try to create an account. And I guess I need to do refresh because now it's saying that config of undefined cannot read config of undefined. Let's see why this is happening to me. Oh, this is why it's happening to me. And I have to provide a client here. Why am I doing this to myself? Let's try to create one more time. And let's see if we are getting, finally, successfully. Hooray. I love to show you the whole raw videos so that you can also see, we got one more. We should try one more. We should try one more. And this time we're going to go ahead and do, this one is going to be ginger tea. And the name is going to be also ginger tea. Ginger tea. Let's create an account. Once we create an account, all right, so this should actually do and create an account. Let's hit a refresh. And there we go. We get this one. So at least some of our problems are gone. I'm pretty sure not all, but some of our problems are gone. All right. Now let's go ahead and try to log in and see whether all these details are being filled up, whether this account ID gets filled up or not. So we can actually hit the account sign in directly. We don't need to change anything. Let's try this. I can hit the sign in and there we go. I get the account ID. And the reason why I was telling you, because when I created this app, if you just set this to a string, then there's a lot of data that is coming in. And this data, I need to show you that once the login is done, we need to console log what's coming in back. The user details, it should be here. Let's try this. Although we are getting sign in. And when I do this, this is what I was talking about. Once I do this, notice here this whole thing coming up. This is a whole JSON data. And through this data, I came to know that there is a $ID to get the ID of this. It's similar like in the Mongoose, or MongoDB, we have underscore ID. In the app, right, we have $ID, inspired by PHP, of course. And I can also grab the email. I can grab the status of the email, verification. I can grab the name. I guess that's all what we need, but that's it. And once we're done with this, if I go ahead and do a sign out, there we go, account ID becomes to null and the session and everything goes away. And that's all you have to do. Now we have seen that I can just go ahead and create an account. And definitely in the future videos, I'll walk you through that how you can make it a little bit more beautiful, little bit better. I'll push the code as well on the GitHub so that you can also see the default of how things are being done. And in the future, we will definitely explore that how using the mobile app and Expo, it's not that hard. I just did messed up a couple of mistakes, which are obvious. Everybody does that. But the whole idea is we can fix them up. In the later on videos, I'll show you and walk you through how you can use databases and function and storage and all of these services if you have enough of the demand in the comment section. So that's it. You can find all the source code that we have messed up here in the description section or on my GitHub account. And there is a detailed description of this. Let me show you that as well, because it's actually much more fun to see this. So I can just go ahead and walk in on chicode.com. That's the domain chicode. You can go onto the blogs, and this is where I have written this entirely pre-written before this tutorial. We're still working on making this a little bit enhanced so that you can have copy buttons and all of that. I'm working on that. But whole things, whole details, and these are actually the correct ones. Don't worry, these are correct ones. We're definitely getting an account and client and all whatnot. This is better one. So you can just go ahead and see all the views and conclusions. So if you don't want to watch it or just want to have it for revision purpose, you can just go ahead and watch it there. That's it for this video. Let's go ahead and catch up in the next one.